Yeah.
That's pretty rusty, actually.
Actually, yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
We might have to back half this thing.
That's the first time I'm seeing that.
Yeah, me too.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Red, White, and Boosted. My name's Corey.
I'm Colin.
And Josh is over here making noise in the background. He's working on a Jeep today. We're back here working on the El Camino, and we're gonna be working on the tower plates for the suspension setup. So it's kind of hard to see, but you can see some warpage on both the plates because realistically 3/16 is too thin to do. So we picked up some 1/4-inch plate, and today I'm going to be cutting these back out and then making some really good templates to fit these in, and then we'll end up boxing around it and all that good stuff. I'm also going to do a third member down to the frame there in the center. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. Welcome back to Hopes and Dreams.
On this episode of
Hopes and Dreams.
Red, White, and Boosted.
Red, White, and Dreams. Welcome back to Red, White, and Boosted. This is Corey.
Hi.
Corey was just teaching us about dieting. He has Taco Bell sunflower seeds. So if you ever need to go on a diet, but you also love the taste of Taco Bell, look no further than Big's Taco Bell, what is this? Taco Supreme. All right, so what we got going on here today, boys and girls, is hoopage. So kind of off camera, I don't think we recorded any of this, but we cut these out. Corey cut these out because they weren't to our satisfaction.
There might be some video on that.
But basically, we did all this very, very well. Corey did. I didn't do shit. But we did all the welding on the subframe ostensibly nice. And then we kind of had to rush to knock these out to make it into a roller. Today, we're fixing our wrongs.
Yeah, there's a couple issues getting all the angles right with the suspension setup and ultimately where it's supposed to be to get our toe and camber correct. And we did kind of rush into it. We ended up using some 3/16 plate, and that just wasn't strong enough. You could visually see it bowing in the top, so we wanted to correct that with some 1/8-inch plate. And not only that, but we're gonna box in the sides and do all that.
All right, so we got all the essential tools out here.
Well, that's like 20 tools all in one.
20 tools in one.
Basically,
We got the welder, the plasma cutter, and then the hoops. And then in addition to that, we also got some pretty thick steel. I don't know where that big sheet is, but we got it.
Well,
so
I mean, this is one of the pieces here.
oh, this is one of the pieces right here. Thick
right
boy.
Now it's just a table until I start chopping it up. So.
All right, so we're gonna get to it, right, guy?
Yeah. Let's
All
go.
right.
We got hoops back on there, so that's cool. That using plasma cutter, that was the right move to go with. That made that so easy. And then just centering off the engine bay, everything's very close. We're gonna do just fine with an 1/8-inch tolerance here and there, so we're gonna run with that. Now we're gonna start putting some plates on the top and get our shocks and everything set where they're supposed to go. So let's start working on that. All right, so I've got my plates kind of where I want them. Now I'm gonna start with one side, get it tacked in place, take measurements off of it, transfer those measurements to the other side, tack that in place. They're gonna run a measurement across the top, find our center and our location to set the holes for the shocks to go through. So gonna do some tacking and get that taken care of. Alright, so I realized the camera cut off here in the middle of me doing some snipping, but got my little side pieces here, and also got my other side pieces for the back side here. That's good. The rest of it's weldable, like this front here. And, now I'm gonna do this back gusset, so let's get that. All right, so we've got quite a good bit of little stuff done today. I think we just slowed down, breathed a little bit, and focused on what should happen instead of what could happen. So we got some measurements knocked out, got these plates set up, and check that out. So we're working with two different angles. We have a downward slope towards the motor from the fender, which is very minute. It's like an 1/8 inch drop basically across the hole for the suspension. So we replicated that. And then there's also another angle. It's about a 1/2 inch drop across the hole, so we replicated that. And it's very similar side to side. Like very similar. We're working in about 1/8 of tolerance, but so far everything's lining up really good. The only difference I saw was that there was a 1/4 inch difference from there to there, and for that I'm just going to shift everything over 1/8 inch this way as far as the center line goes for our suspension tunnel or towers. There we go, our towers. So up on top here, got the center of my plate marked, which is referenced off of the distance from this subframe bolt to the frame upwards. So I've actually done that on both sides, and you guys are probably like, well, how do you know, or what did you use, the angles or levels? Or nothing's level. Angle finders are kind of voodoo at this point. Tape measures never lie though, so if you can measure off things like consistent things across the way, you can pretty much get everything lined up. So I've been pulling off the firewall. Now that we have the AC box out of there, I've been pulling off the firewall. I'm also pulling off mounting points on the fenders. So like right here, mounting point for the hinge should be in the same location, we hope. But so far so good. So everything's pulling this way good, and then pulling off the side here, boom, 5 3/8 over, 5 3/8 over for our center lines. So we should be really good with that. What we're doing is trying to match up our stock locations for the Camino, and this is it here. So I've pulled measurements off the top of this tower and the frame rail to the tower, and we believe we have everything lined up well. So I think that this will give us plenty of wiggle room to have it almost exactly where we want it, and then we can come back and do an alignment later on to make it exactly perfect. So you know, it's Sunday, and all of us have been working all through the week on different things. Everybody's tired, and it's Easter Sunday, so if you're celebrating today, happy Easter. If not, move it along. But hope you guys are having a great day. It was beautiful today here in Georgia. Just a little cold, as you can see. Sometimes the hoodie goes on and off, but we're managing, getting back to that warm weather. So we'll be back on this in a day or two. No, actually tomorrow. I'll see you in the morning, so I'll give you an update then. Y'all have a good night. See ya. All right, what's going on, y'all? We're back in the morning. It's a beautiful day here in Georgia. So right now, we've got our whole tower mocked up. I got my little corner gussets, got my main gusset. It's gonna sit down in there real nice. We'll get some good weld on everything. Should be able to weld the underside too really well. Got our back piece. I didn't notice, but I actually designed this like a turtle shell, which is kind of neat, but it should work out pretty good. So fortunately, both sides are very, very similar. There might be some small little itty bitty differences, not issues, but differences, and that's okay. It's all gonna line up well. And you see on the top here, we've got our center line marked, and we got our areas ready to drill on these top plates. So we'll do that after we get everything cut up, tacked in place so everything's supported and structurally sound. And then we'll start welding stuff in. So the plan is to get all of this built and made, and I have another kicker to go in and get her welded up. Let's get into it. Alrighty then. So that's pretty cool. And that's pretty cool. What's really neat is that I got into making, you know, just this side over here. And I pretty much copied everything for this side over here. Now, I have been taking measurements and making sure things mostly line up and just kind of keeping an eye open for any slight differences between the two. And like I said, I've kept it within 1/8 of what I think it's supposed to be. So assuming that I did get everything correct, we should be pretty good to go. So now I'm gonna stage to weld and get everything in. I might actually go ahead and cut the new, well, the third members to put in here. But yeah, let's go ahead and make those just so everything's in there, and then once it's all ready to go, we can get everything welded. I do have to remove these hinges, so I'm also gonna do that. So let's get into it. All right, Colin just got here. Let's see what he thinks.
Oh,
hey, man.
My God.
Oh.
Dude, what have you been doing?
It's been a good Monday morning, man.
Oh my God. Dude.
What do you think?
Wow.
Something else, huh?
Dude, and the third bar?
Yes.
Dude.
Lots of support.
Man. Man. This is pretty beefy, bro.
Very beefy.
This is probably some of the best work I've seen.
We're not gonna have any issues with flexing, I think, this time.
God.
But Colin's been suggesting we take a bar and make a bar to run from tower to tower, which is a great idea. So we're gonna do that when we get some more material in.
Wow.
But not too bad going from just cardboard yesterday to full on everything's there and ready to be welded in.
Like full on like Phantom Works type, you know, gas monkey build thing.
Gas monkey.
It's like a real deal.
Real deal.
Wow.
This is real deal red, white, and boosted, my man.
I'm serious.
Shoo!
That's for real.
I'm just excited to get it welded together, and then we'll get the holes drilled out on top of it and get the suspension set in and see how she looks on the ground. I think she's gonna level out flat this go.
Dude,
So
that's so legit.
yeah, man. Heck yeah. So we're sitting good. It's probably gonna take about an hour to weld in, and then we'll be able to drill these, get the suspension in there, and we're gonna test it out today. So heck yeah. Now I got some backup here. We're gonna get into it. Lovely, lovely. That's going to be strong. So I haven't welded the underside of these plates or anything yet. We got to pull the motor out again, and there's a bunch of stuff I have to clean up. I didn't weld everything on the bottom of these tubes. The center tube is now completely welded, but the outside tubes need to be cleaned up and finished, because I just couldn't access them with everything in here, and I wasn't going to try. That'll also give me the ability to weld up under here more easily, because these guys are just kind of in my way. So we'll get this out of here. I'll finish all this, and there's a couple things I need to clean up on the frame rails anyway. But now we're gonna come in here. Ooh, yeah, look at that. I'm gonna pop a pilot hole, and we're gonna drill some 2.5 inch hole saw holes. And those hole saws, they walk a little bit as you cut. We really want 2 5/8, so that's gonna give us 2 5/8, because it will walk a little bit as I drill it out. So let's get into that. Well, if you guys heard the racket, it's because Colin's over here
None of this is making it in.
apparently. Oh yeah. Now that the guys got me in the sunlight, I can do shadow puppets. She's sitting pretty good. Ooh. What do you fellers think?
It's awesome.
It's really good.
It works.
It's the wild thornberries.
Nigel.
What about Corey? That guy right there.
Yeah.
But this here. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Cut. It's the Goonies.
Oh yeah. Hey you guys.
The Terminator.
I'll be back. All right, so we got this thing off the lift and back on the ground. We can finally move it around as a roller again, and everything's looking pretty good. We do have some kind of issue here going on with the toe, and we don't know if it's been hit or we just need to make an adjustment or something, but we'll get that figured out down the line. But everything looks pretty decent for what we've got going on. We do think that there might be a difference in pitch from, you know, the OG setup with the Camino to welding this guy into the frame. But it's nothing that we can't figure out and handle and maybe adjust in the wheel alignment. So we should be pretty good with it there. But other than that, this is going to wrap up our fabrication for today. The guys have been floating around doing little things here and there, and they've been helping me get it situated as I need to be situated. But we'll be getting into what differential, transmission mount, what else, wiring. Colin and Josh have been ripping out the interior and the Camaro so we can get the full harness out. We will figure out what interior we want to use in it, because ultimately bench sheet's probably not the best for racing and stuff like that. Burnouts. pro touring. There we go. And drag racing in general. So, but you can just look at it for a second and enjoy this, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. No, I'm leaving, Colin.
Welcome back to Red, White, and Boosted. Today we are working on the El Camino. This is Josh. I'm Colin, and this is the El Camaro. So you guys might have recognized this from one of Ice Grip Garage's episodes where he picks things up and drives it 700 miles. So far, if you're just joining us for this build series, we have put this Camaro cradle out of that Camaro over there. It's a 2011 Camaro SS. This is the front engine cradle out of it with the L99/LS3 get up in it. Corey, our other person who's not here, he's on vacation in Mexico. Get a little tequila, baby. So, he made all this, which I'm too short to show you all the details, but I'll just describe it in detail. So, it's a hoop with this thing on top, like a big plate to replicate what's in the Camaro. And today we are working on the rear. So we're going to be putting this subframe. I'm sure this won't be done in this episode. These sort of things take a while.
Yeah.
But honestly, the exact specifications of everything are a little more loose on the rear because all we have to do is mount this cradle and the rest is pretty simple. The only other thing that we have to worry about are shock mounts, which we took out of the Camaro. And we're just going to build pockets for those, I think, just like standoffs. Mount the shocks. All we have to do is make 4 studs or bolt holes, haven't decided yet, to mount the 4 points. Then we'll have a Camaro in an El Camino, but it's kind of not, it's kind of is. Yeah. The only thing to make it run past then is going to be wiring and drive shaft and fuel system. Then we're going to address the brakes at the very end, I think, and kind of some of the luxuries that exist.
Heated, cooled seats.
We've got heads-up display.
What?
I'm super excited about that. Okay, so today we're gonna rip out the rear end, maybe mock this up in there. Probably that's about as far as we're gonna get as my guess today.
We'll see.
All right, let's get after it.
It's close. I think it's gonna have to go your way. Lift it up, unlock it, and we'll lower it down a little bit.
Wow.
This is gonna be awesome.
Bro, when I saw it, I was like, yeah.
How's it look on your side? Yep, it's gonna look sick.
It's gonna look about as cool as I thought it would.
Alright, so Colin is cutting out some brackets.
All right, so anyways, here we go. Check it out. So today, as Corey was saying, we're probably we've already measured this sucker out, and you wouldn't believe it, but in that random episode that you just saw right before this one, where me and Josh were messing around and stuff, we just kind of set the rear end in there, not knowing much.
Yep.
And we got within a 1/4 inch of wheelbase length side to side. And so the standard wheelbase on a 1960 El Camino is 119 inches.
Yep.
What was it on this bad boy?
118.
Not bad, not bad.
Yep.
So we're a little bit shorter, but that's okay because we still got good wheel articulation and turning in the front. And in the back, it won't need to swing like this anymore because it's independent rear suspension. And so it just articulates like up and down and out, which is going to be fine. I think it's going to be cool. So today we're going to be trying to set the subframe, and if we get time, we're going to set the coil spring mounts as well. Ready, break. What just happened?
Woo! We somehow found the shelf over here. So right now there's a piece back here that we need to cut out, I guess, for clearance for this guy to come up in here. So I'm just gonna take a wire brush, clean this off, and then we'll get to doing some plasma cutting. Let's get into it. Okay, now that we figured out how to get the car off the lift, because
You ready for this thing to fall on the ground?
Our lift is broken!
we broke.
Again.
Well, we technically didn't break it. It just kind of did it itself. It was never serviced before we got here. So now we're gonna play around with this guy on the ground and go ahead and move on to some other stuff like brakes and steering. We got some stuff out of the Camaro, which would be, it's pretty much, I don't know, fuselage, not fuselage, firewall, command center for basically where everything attaches to inside the Camaro. We're gonna see if we can somehow stuff it in that. So Mr. Josh is gonna take over, and don't let him lie to you. We're gonna get in here and knock some of this out real quick, hopefully. So let's get into it.
Hey, Colin is going to tell you what we're doing.
All right, Josh was just about to tell you what we're doing.
So, Corey is going to show us how to do this.
No. Josh is doing this.
Josh, help.
Sure, you can't hear me because that plasma cutter is pretty loud. But basically, he's cutting out part of that plate that came out of the Camaro, and then we're going to only need part of it because there's not enough room on this firewall, but that's okay. We don't need all the room. That'll convert our brake master cylinder and steering rod hole, steering shaft to Camaro. That about wraps that up. All right, guys, well, another one of those days where you think you're gonna get a bunch done and then you just don't. But hey, a lot of stuff's going down. Once we get the lift fixed, we're gonna get our rear end set, and we've kind of got a good idea for what we're doing there. We started working on the front over here. Well, Josh did. We watched.
Someone had to record.
Camera guy. Okay, so we got the new Camaro booster in there, and it looks right at home except for that shock tower we made. It's kind of
Right in the way.
almost right in the way. But other than that, it's gonna be fine. And we cut out the plate. So in the next episode, if the lift isn't fixed, we're gonna finish out getting the steering linkage set up, and we've got some interesting cutout laser jet stuff to make our top bar that's on brand. And we'll get the steering wheel in, and then if we still don't have the lift, then we'll go for wiring and brake lines and fuel lines, and then eventually we'll get the lift done, and then this whole thing will just be lickety split, and we'll just be cruising down.
Like that.
Optimism.
Yeah.
All right, guys, well, hey, I really do want to thank you guys for watching. We're getting very close to 10,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please drop a subscribe and get us to that 10,000. This is Colin.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Josh.
This is Red, White, and Boosted. Thank you so much for watching.
That side looks like it's.
rust. I'm just not seeing that.
Yeah, those are fresh welds. I bet you.
Wait, that's pretty rusty, actually.
Actually, yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
We might have to back half this thing.
that's the first time I'm seeing that.
Yeah, me too. Well, the bracket was in the way before. Yeah, we're gonna have to back half this section.
That's too
At least from
Yeah.
here. Well, if that's the case, we might as well just do it from here. You know? And build our own.
Welcome back. I'm Colin. This is Corey. That's Josh. We are on part D of this colossal disaster. It's really not that bad, but the frame on the El Camino, as you saw before, does have a little bit of rust on the side of the frame. So instead of patching that up on this antiquated frame, when we're going to have to modify it anyways to fit the rear end, we still have the Camaro. It has not sold on Facebook. Facebook's been a little slow lately. So good news is we still got it. We're thinking about cutting this rear frame out and using the pickup points that already exist with the shock plate that's already there and just grafting that into the El Camino to make the full El Camaro. Now, there's been some discussion about whether this is a good idea, a bad idea, an okay idea, an iffy idea, a so-so idea, or overall the best idea. So we haven't decided yet, but just in case, we're going to go ahead and cut this frame out so that we can parlay it into the El Camino. That about sum that up?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
You ready to get to cutting?
Yep. Okay. So we're gonna start by just trimming things out. I've never cut apart a Camaro like this before, but there's, you know, basic similarities between vehicles that are spot welded together and unibody structure, stuff like that. So I don't know how thick everything is. The basic idea is that I'm just gonna trim around, kind of cut loose everything, gain some more access through the trunk area here. In case you're wondering, oh, why is he cutting out the back of the car like that? So I want to gain access to the inside and make it easier for myself. And we'll go back up under the car and take a look at a couple different things to, you know, we'll pop some holes through to give us reference points on the top to cut through and cut down so we're not cutting above us the whole time. That's kind of basically the idea. And again, we don't know if this is going to work, but since we still have the car and nobody wants to buy the chassis, we're going to go ahead and take it out of there. So let's get into it.
So much more room for activities.
All right, so plasma cutters are fun. As you can see, they can get material out of your way pretty fast. Kind of weird. Just be hanging out in the trunk pan like this. All right. Still pretty neat. So we're gonna come in here and start trimming all of this out. We gotta pop a couple reference points. We're gonna have to take some of the, I don't know what to call all this out. And kind of cut out in through there. What? Oh, hi Josh. Hi. So, yeah, this will be good. Everything going okay?
What's up, Colin?
Hey buddy.
What you got there?
Oh. Okay, thanks. So, the frame rail. So, you were trying to go as far forward as you could, but get in here to get this off.
What do you need, sir?
It's gonna be pretty. And then
I want to do something. Give me it.
I got it.
Put shoes on.
He said negative.
I think we're about good to cut like under here. Now it's just we'll have a couple places on top in the corners that we need to try to get.
Corey, give me the what's what. What's going on?
This one's got 20%.
What's going on right here, buddy?
Well, we think that we got it all cut out, so we're hoping to just lower the car down, knock this with the hammer a couple times, and hopefully we'll have our frame section out. So let's do it.
There's like casually a fire behind you.
I'm off on the back. My feet are out of the way.
Okay, we need to go up a little.
Okay.
Just push on it. Oh boy. Careful, don't fall over, bro. You cut yourself?
Yep.
On the wrist?
I got it.
Blood or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
Nice.
How heavy is it?
It's not bad.
Show us where we're at. Come hither, gentlemen. All right. So Corey worked all day to cut out this subframe, and Colin's got this idea. We're gonna extend the frame up there, box it out to here, bring it back this way, and figure out how to mate it into this. Same with this up to there. Just kind of can't see it. And then sleeve this to fit into here. Do a little bit of bracing. Trying to talk like Colin.
I don't sound like that.
So basically, here's the deal. We've got a 52-inch wide frame. I was referring to this, not Colin.
Wait.
A 32-inch wide X-frame. So the plan is to basically bring some angle, well not angle, but rec tube out and make more of a square frame out, because the Camino engine is going to put some power down. So we're going to go all twisty. And in order to try to use the subframe assembly, well, subframe assembly? No. I've lost my mind. Trying to use the unibody structure that all that bolts up into. We're just gonna have to do a lot of custom stuff I don't understand. So I'm just gonna weld stuff to things and make sure the metal melts to other metal, and maybe catch some seam sealer on fire. I don't know.
What is going on here?
They handed me the camera, and I'm just trying my best, guys. Just trying.
All right,
trying
guys,
to do
let me
my
explain
best.
what I think is going on here. So Corey's gonna come in here. It's gonna come off this frame right here, okay? And our original idea was to come straight off this and kind of feather it in and make it look pretty. But then we measured things, and like Corey said, this is only 32 inches wide across here, and this is 55 inches wide across here. So that's a pretty big difference. So our plan, and for those of you that can't do math, that is more than 11 inches per side we need added on. That's ridiculous. So the inside right here, if we cut it back, we cut this frame back to the last structural part, which is in this area. You can see it's much narrower. It's about 4 inches narrower. So instead of needing 11 inches per side, we only need 7 inches per side. And when we go 7 inches per side out here, we're actually going to make one. We've had a couple discussions. One was make a triangle box here and then make a ladder going down the side, 7 inches wider than this frame. And then Corey's idea, which I think we're going to run with, is make one solid beam coming off here, going to the widest part back there, and angle it out so that it ends up being 7 inches wider, but starts out gradual. And then we're going to put in ladder bars, you know, kind of like up in here to gusset it out. And then what else, buddy? Is that about it? Oh, back here. So back here, the drop of this is slightly less dramatic than the drop of this. So we're gonna have about an inch on top, which I thought that would be an issue for the bed support, but apparently the body mounts on these mount on the side anyways, so it's not a big deal. We're just gonna duplicate these onto this. And if it's a little bit wider, then we'll just drill through this and make a sleeve or something in there and make a body mount. So it's not gonna be a big deal. I think it's gonna work out. Corey doesn't seem enthused because every time that me and Josh come up with some big fabrication idea, he's like, it's not as easy as you think it's gonna be.
Because it's not.
It's okay. Tacos and beer fixes that.
That's right.
All right, guys.
Easily persuaded by Mexican food.
Thank you for watching Red, White, and Boosted. And you have to figure out who's who.
I'm calling. Y'all have a good night.
Oh, Josh, go!
Woo!